Hey guys, open week came at a good time. The focus this last week has been really simple: rest, recovery, recharge our batteries a little bit, and refocus to make a run down the stretch. Still a lot to play for. Disappointed with how things finished up, obviously with San Jose, but we dissected it pretty thoroughly and focused this last week on trying to get a team physically feeling better, emotionally in the right place, right mental space to make a run down the stretch and try to finish up really strong. We want to get this team bowl eligible. We know what that entails. We know how difficult that's going to be, and so that has been the focus: be the best we can this week against San Diego State. Road trips are always difficult. This is going to be no different. Both teams have probably not had the seasons that they wanted or expected, but still, have opportunities here at the end if we can right the ship. And so we need to be our best on Saturday at 4 o'clock against a team that we know is more than capable of being extremely disruptive. Their defensive front, running the ball powerfully, offensively, and we've got to play better. So that's been the focus, and hopefully we'll get that from our guys. Had a practice last night. Was really pleased with the energy level, the attitudes. You can tell fresher legs, bounce in their step that we didn't have a week or two ago, and so hopefully we're going to get out of this what we planned and be sharper, faster, crisper, healthier than we were, and playing at a high pace. So, what questions do you have?
So, Coach Al Lewis from KVNU, was that then your first practice you had during the bye week? Was last night?
Well, we did some light stuff. That's the first padded physical practice we've had since San Jose. We are, that open week probably came a week or two too late. Physically, we were beat up pretty good. It showed. Not an excuse by any means. We still just played bad, but we needed to avoid collisions last week. A lot of bodies beat up pretty good. So we ran and lifted 3 days last week. We had basically 25, 30-minute PRP kind of throw and catch drill work sessions during the week, but we did not have any collisions until last night.
Any updates then on health different than the San Jose game for this game this week?
Yeah, we're closer. We're closer to being healthy. We had really just a couple guys limited last night. One of those being Poulet, who's been battling to get back, and he desperately wants to play, and it's possible that he will. But otherwise, really, we had everybody. Even Sturger was back on the field practicing his first full padded practices of the year, where he could be in collisions. Chase to Tagovailoa was back out there. We've missed him. Defensively, just that front has been beat up, and those guys, Bronson, Olivea was back out practicing on a limited basis. So some guys we've been missing for quite a while are starting to look and feel better. And by the end of the week, they had the day off as well to do treatment only. By the end of the week, we're hoping to be in much better shape than we've been the last 2 or 3 weeks. You got specific questions about anybody else? I may have missed some guys, but if there's somebody in particular you're asking about, I'll be happy to try to do my best.
Hey, Coach Patrick Mayhorn with the Ag Ship. You've had the chance now to go back and look at McKay's game against San Jose State. You said you wanted to assess it after the game. Where are you at with that now?
Well, I thought he did some really good things. He looked like a freshman at times. A little difficult to assess because of how poorly we played up front. He was under duress a good bit of the night. Biggest issue was the one he threw across the middle early. Was proud of how he responded. The second interception was a protectional issue. I mean, when the ball came out, he was getting hit. He and the wideout were not on the same page. That is part of what we deal with in terms of what we let our wideouts do: run through, set down, run by. We've got to protect him better. I didn't think he played great by any means. I was proud of how he responded late and allowed us to drive the ball down the field. But it's the interception early in the game that is glaring, which was my point of frustration, has been my point of frustration with both those guys. Is just the unforced turnover that we cannot overcome. and then just a little jittery as the game went on. Protections were breaking down. I thought he moved from the pocket too quickly, so which you honestly kind of expect from a freshman sometimes. Both got equal reps last night. I've been really clear and very open with both that they neither are playing at the level that they can. I think both can play better. The number one goal is to protect the football, and that's what I need to see. So that's really where our focus has been: protect the ball, give ourselves a chance to win.
Coach, Jason Walker with Cash Valley Daily. Let's talk about the offensive line. There have obviously been some struggles. What is the key going forward to trying to get that group to, play up to what they're capable of doing?
Yeah, I think we've played obviously much better football earlier in the year than we did against San Jose. I think fatigue and injuries were not helpful. Not an excuse by any means. We were more than capable, but we did not play well. I don't know what's going on the screen over here, guys, but there's some stuff going on the screen. I don't know if y'all can still see me or not, but there's some things happening on the screen, and hopefully it's not affecting what you guys are seeing.
No, you're fine.
We can see you, Coach.
Y'all good? Y'all good? Okay. I think fatigue and injury, it kind of took its toll up front, maybe on both fronts to some degree. We got thrown around, tossed around, shoved around most of the night. But technically, we need to be better. I think we are healthier. We look better last night than we have in quite a while, just physically. We've got to cover bodies up. We've got to give ourselves a chance to push the ball downfield. We've got too good of weapons outside to struggle as much as we did last Saturday in protection. I think some of that was guys playing through injury. Some of that was us struggling with the movements that we saw. Some of it was just we didn't have a good night, and it showed up front. So we need to solidify that front. Hopefully we can. We need to play more consistently, and that's something I hope we can do as well. We need to be more balanced. We struggled. We were second and long all night long, and we're not very efficient on early downs. That would be helpful to get off to good starts on drives and stay ahead of the chains and being more second and manageable so we can be way more balanced than we were. It's all the above, man. We've got to play better everywhere, not just those guys. They struggled, but a lot of people struggled last Saturday.
Hey, Coach, Eric Franson with 106.9 The
Coach
Fan.
Anderson.
Besides taking
Sorry, go ahead, Eric.
Oh, thanks, Jason.
Who's up next? Come on, only one.
So
one at a time.
You've talked about using the bye week for self-discovery for offensive issues that you've been facing. What have you discovered defensively in the bye week to help you move better through the last 4 games?
Yes, similar there. We struggled to hold point the other day, like we'd like. I think physically, some guys have played a lot of snaps, and I thought fatigue set in there as well. We didn't chase the ball and really rally to the ball like we had in previous games. Our inexperience showed a good bit. The conversations this last week defensively with Joe, and we agreed, simplify, give our guys confidence, and let guys really fly to the ball. We've got to be more physical up front. We know that. That has been something we've talked about all year. It's not going to change overnight. So if we know the matchups are not going to be in our favor, how do we create those opportunities? We've done it at times this year, either through pressure or through movement or both. And we got to find a way to do that down the stretch to take some pressure off the back end, to get people off schedule. What those specifics look like, that's in Joe's court. But conversations, simplify, allow guys to play with confidence, freshen them up, healthy them up, where guys can fly to the ball. That's when we're at our best, and be willing to get in guys' face and mix it up. Just did not do that effectively last Saturday, but we have done it at times this year, and so finding that is really, really important. Schematically, those are questions Joe would have to speak to more directly.
So, Coach Anderson, Jason Turner from the Herald Journal. This is kind of a follow-up question to Eric's. Just after looking at the film, what do you need to do better defensively to get off the field on third down, particularly third and long? San Jose executed on third and long quite a few times.
Yeah, we did a poor job containing the quarterback. Obviously, we knew he could run, and his ability to step up through the pocket was frustrating for the night. We didn't create pass rush as effectively as we had in previous games, especially when you look at how we were able to get to the quarterback against Colorado State, who's somebody that throws the ball a lot. We really never made him uncomfortable. We allowed him to break contain. I mean, it was a little bit of everything. We had some one-on-ones we lost in the back end. If you look at the game plan and what we needed to do and what we did, very little matched up. We did not play well. And so just playing with better technique, getting hats to the ball and flying around, all that stuff's got to improve. All that's got to improve. But you did see glaring opportunities we had to get them off where there just wasn't enough pass rush to create a situation where the quarterback was uncomfortable. When we did, he stepped through and escaped on huge third and longs, which you just can't have.
Coach Al Lewis, to just kind of follow up on that, if you're going to look at San Diego State, you have to look at their quarterback. He's their leading rusher. And so he's the guy you have to stop on offense.
Yeah, no doubt. He likes to use his legs and is going to, and so that's key. If you got a spy, the spy's got to be able to get him on the ground. If you're not going to spy, you got to condense the lanes where he can't step through. All the above. I know it's obviously it's a very generic answer, but man, we got to play better, play with better energy, which we didn't. We've got to make them uncomfortable by attacking the pocket and reduce the lanes, either by putting people in those gaps or have a spy ready to get him on the ground if he does escape. Hopefully, make him uncomfortable, or those options aren't available. And we've done that at times, but not consistently all season, and definitely not last Saturday.
Coach Patrick Mayhorn again. You have a San Diego State team in kind of a similar spot, taking a tough loss and then going into a bye week. How do you prepare for a game where you know that they're going to have adjustments and they had that week to kind of react to what they just saw?
Yeah, I think we got to focus on what we're doing. To be honest with you, we're not doing it well enough yet with this group. So focus on what we can control, which is how well we play our techniques, how hard we play, tackle better in space, offensively cover people up front. I mean, they're not going to overhaul their offense and defense in 1 week. We have a good idea of what to expect. We got to execute better than they do. So focus on what we can control, which is for us to play better, play more technically sound, play with better energy, more physical at the point of attack. If we do those things and don't turn the ball over, we got a chance to win every week and would have had a chance to win every week this season. But we've struggled to get that consistently, and we've struggled to protect the football. So, I mean, those same things are going to matter in this game. Our quarterbacks and offense got to protect it. Our defense has to find a way to get it out. We got to play more physical at the point of attack, and technically, we have to play more technically sound football in all areas. You do that, you got a chance to beat these guys, regardless of the open week for them or us.
What do you expect to see from that offense? Obviously, new coordinator, but the system kind of is the system there.
Yeah, I mean, I think we see more of the same. When they have really have had good nights, they've run the ball effectively and thrown off the run. When the nights that they've struggled to do that have not been good for them. But when they can establish the run game and commit to making you load the box and add bodies to stop their running game, whether it be the quarterback or the running backs, that to me creates their opportunity to be explosive in the throw game.
Andrew, ICANSL.com.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Thanks, Jason. I just got two quick questions for you. The first one is a follow-up to Patrick's a while ago. From what it sounded like, it seems like there's no determined starter at quarterback heading into San Diego
Not as
State.
of today. Not as of today. There's not. I thought those guys handled the week really well. I was critical of them, critical of me. Heck, I'm the one coaching them and running the offense. We turn the ball over too much, and both of them have had issues with that. So we dissected a lot of things last week. I was very hard on them, but also loved the way they both responded. Gave them equal reps last night. Told them I'm gonna just continue to watch and see how they're carrying themselves and responding, and we'll make a decision later in the week. But as of right now, haven't made a final decision as to who's going to go. There's merit and value to both, but at the end of the day, we all three got to be better. I got to put them in better positions, and we got to stop turning the ball over to have a chance to win. So this is my ownership as well, and so I just I wanted them to be competitive with each other, and they are. They've got great attitudes. Last night was a really good first step into that. And regardless of who the starter is, it's going to be a short leash for either. If somebody goes out and is careless with the ball, don't expect to them get a lot of grace. We've got to protect the football.
And then next question I've got for you. Both you and San Diego State are both 3-5. It seems to be a pretty even matchup. Could go either way. Both teams coming off bye weeks. And if either team loses this one, it's going to seem pretty hard to become bowl eligible. Does it feel like there's more hanging on this game than maybe some of the other games you played this season?
Well, I mean, this particular game, there's a ton hanging on it because it's the next opportunity, and it's a game that we want to win. Our guys we've always talked about being bowl eligible, but we don't talk about it once we get in the season. We're focusing on we have not played our best, and we sure didn't play our best last Saturday. If nothing else, to go out and play the type of ball we're capable of. All I want, our only goal on a weekly basis is to be our best. That clearly was not us last Saturday, starting with me. I mean, I got frustrated and made a boneheaded call in the third quarter out of pure frustration at how poorly we were playing. I can't do that. I got to be better. So Saturday at 4:00, my only goal is for us to play our best football. And the rest will take care of itself, man. Be process-driven, not outcome-driven. We've done a good job of that most of the season. We clearly got away from that last week, and that starts with me at the top. And I got to focus these guys clearly on the job at hand of playing good, solid, sound football, our best football. If we do that, we got a chance to win. And bowl games and records and all those things, those come with it. But there's enough pressure just on doing that alone to not have to add any other pressure to these guys.
Coach Anderson, Jason Turner again. This hasn't been the typical San Diego State defense this year, giving up more points, more yards, aren't getting to the quarterback as much, not nearly as many sacks. What have you seen that's been different from previous San Diego State defenses?
I think they're blitzing way more than what we've seen in the past. Probably very similar conversations to what we just talked about on us. How do you create pressure if you're not getting it in a 3 and 4 man rush and playing some of their spoke defense in the back end? They've become a very, very blitz pressure oriented man coverage type team, and more than we've seen in the past. If you go back and last time we played them, they played a lot of zone coverage. They didn't feel the need to add a bunch of extra guys to the box. And just here recently, they have been more than willing to bring 6 and play man coverage in the back end and try to make people uncomfortable and get them off schedule. So it's a little bit different than what we've seen in the past. We're gonna have to do a great job up front. Our running backs are going to be in a position to have to pick up blitzers. Our tight end, if he's in that situation, will do the same. And we're going to have to win in one-on-one coverage in the back end. So that's something that for us to be successful, those matchups are going to be critical.
Al, again, a couple things about San Diego State. When you played them in the championship game in 2021, they had the great kicker, they had the great kicking game, and you blocked kicks, you did things in that game. One of their real strengths is their return game and their kicker this year, right? That's my first question.
No, we're going to have to find a way to be dynamic in special teams. When you talk about close games, closely matched games on the road especially, there's got to be a piece in there. And, in that particular game, in the championship game, we found some opportunities and we took advantage of them. And I felt like it changed and broke the game wide open. It's different this year. We haven't talked strategically a ton about how to attack them special teams wise, but you're right. They are dynamic, have the ability to be dynamic. They've always had great kickers and punters. And so this game will be no different. Where can we maybe find an edge and make a play in that phase of the game that might swing it? Creating a turnover or a non-offensive touchdown, those things are huge. And those are games that you typically win. If you can block a kick or create a non-offensive touchdown or opportunity, your chances go up through the roof. And so anywhere we can do that, we're going to try to do.
And the other one I was going to ask you was frustration all aside of this year. Just put your mindset back to that game in 2021, how satisfying and how great that was that day you played San Diego State.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that's why you do what you do. We clearly, when we got to that point, had accomplished a lot that people didn't think were was really possible. Even though we'd gone through some adversity through the year, coming off the loss, not playing well against Boise, and coming off the loss against Wyoming, to be able to get there, you just didn't want to miss the opportunity. I mean, it's hard to get there, number one. It's too good of a league. Anybody can win at any given weekend. To get there, you don't want to be satisfied with being there. The thing I think I was most proud of is our guys weren't satisfied with just going. There was a clear mission to win the game. Don't miss this opportunity. And really, in all three phases, we were pretty dominant, even though we weren't expected to be. I don't remember what the spread was, but I know experts thought we were at least an 8 to 11 point underdog, and our kids took exception to that and played dominant all night, man. That's a great feeling to be a part of. Those are games you never forget. And so glad we're able to bring that one to the Valley. Hopefully there's more to come. I know this season hasn't looked that way, but man, this is a process with a lot of new dudes that haven't quit fighting. So hopefully they show Saturday night just what we're capable of.
Hey, Coach Eric Franson, once again. Hey, there's been
Go ahead.
since the last time we spoke, there's been a lot in the media, especially with Michigan and sign stealing and things like that. Looking across the sidelines, does your pace of play does a faster pace make it harder for opponents to try to figure out what you're trying to do on the other sideline?
Well, we just assume that everybody we play is trying to steal our signs. We try to take measures. I mean, we've got 2 live signalers, and it's hard to know which one's live at which point, both, either. But yes, pace of play would make it difficult for you to wait for our signal to be called and then call a defense or then communicate to the guys on the field. So it definitely is a strategy that we've always kind of felt like if you're waiting on us, we're going to play faster than you and you're going to struggle. But we're all aware in college football that regardless of what tactics are used, whether it's just watching the guy during the game or if you can catch a glimpse on a game tape or a TV copy, man, we just assume everybody's trying their best to steal our signals, especially with us being no huddle, spread out, and there for the whole world to see. But if we play fast enough and execute well enough, hopefully that it makes for a real challenge for people that try to do that.
And then I don't mean to make waves, but just if you have an opinion about some of your players getting sideline passes at a P5 football game down the road.
You talk about all the guys who went to watch Utah play. They got a bunch of friends over there. They had an open week. They thought that was going to be a great game. Sometimes you just want to be a fan. I'm not going to read anything into it. I feel like our guys, when you talk about, both Utah and BYU, these guys know a ton of players on both rosters. And sometimes you just want to go enjoy a game. They thought that was going to be a great game and had an opportunity to go watch it. They were back here last night ready to go, working their tails off. So hopefully fans won't freak out too much about that. Understand that it's a good Saturday afternoon to go watch a game. I would assume probably most people here at home were tuned into that one as well, if not some of them at that game in person.